Hello, my friends, we meet again. It's been a while. Where should we begin? Why don't we start at this week's WWE NXT? This is your review for March 14th, 2012. Now, it starts off basically the same with Matt Striker and William Regal in the ring, and William Regal announces that tonight's NXT is going to focus around one thing, a lost art called the tag team, which I am so glad. I freaking love tag teams, and this was a real treat to watch. Now, the first tag team of the night was the Usos, and they come out and they're going to be up against Titus O'Neil and Darren Young. Interesting note, the Usos have their own entrance called the Simatau. It's kind of like a Samoan war dance thing. And Darren Young and Titus O'Neil just had to mock it when they showed up. So, anyway, the Usos dominated early on in the match. However, after that, it sort of went a back and forth. But the Usos kept getting the upper hand, I guess, because since they're twin brothers. And since Titus O'Neil and Darren Young have been a tag team for not too long, that it was obvious that the Usos were going to pick up the win since they're a little bit better when it comes to tag teams, at least. So yeah, there we go. It was an okay match. It was like so. Lots of power, a bunch of big dudes, but not too many off the top rope stuff. After that, we get a backstage segment with Alex Riley and Percy Watson. Apparently this was pre-recorded, and it said earlier today. And they were just, I don't know, messing around with the basketball in the back, waiting for the show to start or whatever. And that's when Kurt Hawkins and Tyler Rex come up to start trouble. And before they could really get into it, that's when Sir William Regal comes in and decides to make the match for the night. Alex Riley and Showtime Percy Watson versus Hawkins and Rex. And William Regal also added that if Hawkins and Rex lose the match, since last week they were the toilet cleaners, this week they're going to be the laundrymen and clean his laundry. Afterwards, after the commercial break, it was Hawkins and Rex come out and they debut new tights, new attire. It's the same as their old one, except it's like a monochrome, like a black and white. And new Titantron. That's what I noticed. I noticed the new Titantron. It was really cool. It was Hawkins and then Rex. Because when they were starting, for the past several months, like before this, it'd always be like Hawkins on the Titantron and Tyler Rex on the Minitron. But this time they finally had their own Titantron. A tag team Titantron. And it was great. I liked it. Well, for the little bit that I saw. Alex Riley and Showtime Percy Watson came out, and they were not pleased at all. Even though their faces, they were not all smiles and sunshine. They were pissed, and it showed in the match. But in the end, Hawkins and Rex won with the Heat Seeker elbow. And here's what I noticed about Hawkins and Rex, like in-ring psychology, like their in-ring story, like the story of the match. Whenever Hawkins and Rex are in the ring, there will be a point in the match where the other guys are winning, and then they'll do something to cheat, but not like a normal cheating tactic, like their own cheating tactic. Like they'll shove a guy, in just one direction, they'll just randomly shove him, or usually Hawkins says they'll trip him, just like some sort of quick vent of frustration, and they'll just do something. And that's what I really noticed, especially the past couple of weeks. Afterwards, they give a little promo, very short promo to William Regal. And Rex calls Regal old man. And Hawkins tells him that he should probably find someone else to do his laundry. Afterwards, we get a backstage segment with Caitlyn, Maxine, Bateman, and Johnny Curtis. It was okay. It wasn't like I said, it was okay. It wasn't really funny or anything, but I think it was really Johnny Curtis that made it kind of funny because he's so weird and creepy. So that made it slightly entertaining, and that's about it. They were playing tag, or at least Bateman and Caitlyn were. That was kind of, eh. Afterwards, I get a surprise. Michael McGillicuddy comes out and shoots a promo. And he calls everyone a loser, and he calls Tyson Kidd a loser, and the crowd losers. Then Tyson Kidd comes out and tries to shoot back at him, and they get into this argument, and McGillicuddy keeps yelling at that Tyson Kidd will never be a Hart, like a member of the Hart family, which is really interesting to me because for the past longest time since the Nexus defected, Michael McGillicuddy has had nothing for a character. But now he has something. According to him, it's the families of the WWE that help build it and run the WWE. And it's because of that he thinks wrestling is in his blood and that it's in him. But it's not in people like Tyson Kidd, who just sort of show up, hey, I want to try this wrestling thingy, as opposed to guys like McGillicuddy, who were born and raised with the stuff. And it brings an interesting development into his character because, for one, he had no character, and two, it gives him a lot of room to put down guys who don't have family ties in the WWE, which, percentage-wise, is a lot. So he's really putting down Tyson Kidd because, oh, Tyson Kidd, even though you were you were the last student of the Hart Dungeon, that doesn't make you a member of the Hart family. And no matter how hard you try or how much you want to be or how much you use the sharpshooter or whatever, you will never be a Hart. And I guess that really gets at the core of Tyson Kidd because afterwards they just start wailing on each other. And it was pretty cool. And William Regal sets up the fight for next week. And then we get to the worst part of every episode of NXT, the recap of Raw. And, of course, they were highlighting The Rock and John Cena because, as you know, we didn't see it. Fuckers. Anyway, after that, it was Derek Bateman and Caitlyn versus Maxine and Johnny Curtis. And I noticed, this is just a quick note, it's not really important, but when Johnny Curtis came out, when they played his music, they got his Minitron wrong. Instead, they played the one that Kurt Hawkins had for a while. It's just like a random assortment of colors, but mostly black and red. But it's not important, I just noticed it. It's just something I noticed. And the match starts, and the girls try to get at it, but after that, the guys come into the ring and hold the girls back, which to me is weird, because aren't they supposed to be wrestling? Isn't the point of them to get at each other? So why are you holding them back? This is weird to me. Afterwards, let's see. Afterwards, we cut to commercials. We come back, and Johnny Curtis and Derek Bateman are going at it. And during the earlier promo with the segment with Curtis said he was in his office. And then I was just thinking, how the hell could Johnny Curtis get an office? He's a superstar. And then I was thinking, you know what the office is? The office is probably his van. And then during the match, when the commentators were talking about that, William Regal said what I was thinking. He's like, his office is probably the back of his van. I was like, damn, you read my mind, Regal. And another thing I noticed in this match, Johnny Curtis really slows everything down when he's in the ring. Everything just comes to moves at a snail's pace. I guess that's his in-ring style, but I really don't like it. I prefer fast-paced, high-octane, high-flying, that kind of cool stuff. Or at least some technical, cruiserweight moves and stuff. But it was not my kind of match. And it was surprisingly short, too, for the so-called main event. Derek Bateman wins with this weird finish. It's like I don't know what it was, like an inverted DDT. I mean, he had him in a front headlock and then fell forward with his head going onto the mat. So that was weird. After that, Derek Bateman caught a promo about him and Maxine being over, how they're no longer in a relationship, and then he kisses Caitlyn, and yeah, that was it. For me, it was an okay show, pretty cool because I love tag teams. So we finally got some good tag team action right in there, and all night, boom, it was like a favorite to me. As usual, the best part of the show were the stars for me, Kurt Hawkins and Tyler Rex. Good to see him nail a victory. But even so, I really didn't like the main event, but I really did like the promo with what Tyson Kidd and Michael McGillicuddy are doing. I hope that turns out pretty well. And that's it for this week's NXT. I'll see all you guys next week. # you should be watching.